So was this how Cleopatra looked? I'm not quite sure that's historically accurate. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Netflix race swapping yet again. This has been kind of a running joke at a certain point. I mean, there's all kind of memes about this. You know, they're talking about if they do an Elon Musk documentary, he'll look like Terrence Howard in the face. If they do one about Queen Elizabeth, she'll look like Queen Latifah. There's all kind of stuff out there as it relates to Netflix and race swapping because it's become regular. We've seen quite a few movies, documentaries, TV shows where this has happened. I think they did it with Anne Boleyn over there in UK. I mean, they got her as sub-Saharan African woman. It's like, why would you do that? It'd be the equivalent of having Ryan Reynolds as T'Challa the Black Panther. It's like, why you got this big, tall forehead Irish dude playing a West African king? That makes no sense at all. Let's just have these movies make some kind of sense. Now, $1 million question, some may have, hey, are you offended? Are you triggered? Are you butthurt? No, I'm not offended or triggered. It's just kind of dumb. It's kind of silly. And I think there's an underlying effort to try and change historical fact. We're talking about people that don't know about history and they see movies like this, they're going to associate that particular person with a particular race. Although it's obviously not true, it's far off the mark, they're going to still associate that person with that race. That's kind of how it goes. I would not be surprised if some people walking God's green earth right now think that Anne Boleyn was a black woman. I would not be surprised at all because it's all on TV. And hey, if it's on TV, if it's on Netflix, if it's on YouTube, it must be real, right? Now, before I go any further into it, let's look at this article right here. And I see some interest in it already. The headline was Queen Cleopatra Black, Race Explored as Petition Against Netflix Docuseries Goes Viral Online. So there's a petition right now to get this off of the air. Okay. Very interesting. But beyond that, what I see immediately is you have a poster of her looking more racially ambiguous right here compared to this poster, which is the official promo art. Do you see a difference? I do. They darken her up right here to really play up the whole race thing. So are they trying to use the whole race thing as an effort to get some cheap marketing by way of, just trying to gin up the general public, create a conversation? Because there's clearly a difference in the colors, but we'll talk about that possibly a little bit more a little bit later. Let's go ahead and get on in it. Netflix's upcoming documentary on Queen Cleopatra has become the subject of debate and criticism on social media over the blackwashing of the legendary ruler of Egypt. In the upcoming documentary, Cleopatra is seen as a black ruler, and netizens are now highlighting the fact that the legendary ruler was of Greek origin and had no black connection. That is correct. You know one thing about it? I'm going to come back to this right quick. People, they look at Egypt and they say it's on the African continent. But just because it's on the African continent does not mean it's the same as sub-Saharan Africa. People that look like me do not originate from Egypt. That's just what it is. That's basically Arabs. That's Mediterranean. The people that live in Northern Africa are not that much different than like Italians and Greeks and whatnot. It's not the same thing. If anything, at best, it's a mixture of black and white, at best. But really, it's mostly white, okay, or Arab. It's not really sub-Saharan black at all. So when you have this poster of Cleopatra, who was Macedonian and Greek, who spoke Greek, and then came to Egypt, it's just not right. But again, people are going to put two and two together. They're going to say, well, she was a queen in Egypt, and Egypt's in Africa, so that must mean she was black, looking like, a regular Nigerian or something like that. Egypt is not Nigeria. Africa is very big, 50, I think, 4 countries. It's very diverse. Even black people in Africa look different. When you're talking about, when you go to like Somalia, Djibouti, Ethiopia versus Nigeria, they're different. I would argue that a lot of your Somalis look more like Southern Indians from the Indian subcontinent than they do West Africans. But that's a different story, and I digress. Let's keep on going here. Amidst the ongoing controversy around the Netflix documentary Queen Cleopatra, an online petition against the same is now making the rounds on the internet. The petition filed on change.org has the title, "Cancel Queen Cleopatra on Netflix for falsifying history." Now, one thing I'm going to say, they got a lot of signatures. They're trying 50,000 signatures, already got about 49,000. They probably got beyond that right now. I was reading this article. But one thing I'm going to say before I continue is that people are trying to harass the actress. Don't harass her. She's just trying to eat. She's just trying to get her career rocking. So if she has to play Cleopatra, although historically inaccurate, she's going to do that. I think you should target your frustration, if anything, towards maybe Netflix and also the producer of the show, Jada Pinkett Smith. Yes, that Jada Pinkett, the same Jada Pinkett who is married to Will Smith, the same Jada Pinkett who was at the Oscars laughing at the jokes. And then when Chris Rock got on stage and started joking about her, she wasn't laughing. Will was laughing. But then when he saw Jada, that simp chip got activated, and then he went up on stage and slapped Chris Rock. Okay, the simp chip is real. It got activated because of Jada Pinkett Smith. She's behind this, so we already kind of know what's going on. It's going to be a dumpster fire, a feminism fest. It is what it is. So that should be where any kind of frustration is sent. But as I close, I want to say this. I'm not surprised at what they're doing right here. Obviously, Cleopatra was not black. She was Greek, Macedonian, a European who came to Egypt. It was not uncommon to have Europeans in Egypt. Again, just because Egypt is on the African continent does not mean it's the same as sub-Saharan. Not everybody in Africa looks the same. Again, you're looking at West Africans, they look more like me. Okay, that's clear. South Africans look a little bit different. And then once you get to East Africa, once you get to Somalia, Ethiopia, Djibouti, etc., they're going to look a little bit different. Even Ugandans, Kenyans, Rwandans, they look different than West Africans. It's not all the same. And especially up north, Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, Libya, Egypt, they're not the same as sub-Saharan Africans. It's simple as that. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what's going on here with the Cleopatra movie on Netflix? Is it more of the same? The race swapping? We've seen that time and time again. And at a certain point, it just kind of becomes comical because it's just, they go so far above and beyond. It's like, what, you want to have Tom Hanks portray Martin Luther King next? Is that what we're going to do? I mean, you might as well. Why not? If you're going to have Anne Boleyn played by a completely black woman, have an historical black figure played by a white person, that's fine. If you're going to have artistic license and just be creative, then let's do that. Why not? I mean, what's the point of being historically accurate if we're not going to be that way all the time? Whatever your thoughts on that are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. At this point, the race swapping on Netflix especially has become a meme. It's become a joke. And I suggest that we treat it that way rather than getting offended and triggered and butthurt. And of course, educate your children about the real history about what's going on. Okay, you're talking about Africa. There were certain people here and there and over there. Europe, Asia, same thing. Talk about history in the real way to your kids so they don't go to Netflix or Hulu or YouTube or anywhere else and see things that are categorically false and then take that as reality. Very simple. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.